Hello and welcome to our 5 minutes with Ekaterina war vlog about Dnipro, the central Ukraine. Right now we are in the middle of June and that means that the summer campaign we were discussing earlier has already started and if you are following the news you might have noticed that there are some considerable successes of the Ukrainian army, particularly in the southern regions of Ukraine, in the occupied by Russians Kherson and Zaporizhia Oblast, across which there was a corridor, so-called land corridor to Crimea, because the Russians have the Crimea Bridge, which they illegally built after the occupation. But this bridge cannot ensure that all the military cargoes will be delivered in time, for example, and also it cannot ensure the normal functioning of the occupational administration. And this road was also used, obviously, to supply the army and to supply the Russians fighting in the Zaporizhia region and in Kherson. And that's why this control over this land corridor is a very important thing for us because now the logistics will be way harder. And that is because we are now able to deploy the short or middle range strike missiles and drones, which are able to hit in the distance of about 100 kilometers. That's brilliant, as I think. But at the same time, when we are talking about Dnipro itself and when we are talking about Zaporizhia, regretfully, in both these regions, the fights are very fierce. And when I'm texting someone who are at the front line here now, they always say that the number of casualties is very big. And the drone warfare is actually very dangerous now, and that's why I cannot say that specifically for Dnipro or for Zaporizhia, we right now see much difference in terms of military operations. A few weeks ago, I probably didn't record the video, so maybe you don't know, but a few weeks ago we had the involuntarily, basically obligatory evacuation of a few villages near Dnipro itself. Zaporizhia is shelled constantly now. It's the same almost as Kharkiv, which is shelled from the Russian territory. So Zaporizhia is also shelled and bombed constantly, and Russians deploy short-range missiles there. I have a friend living there, and she says that it's absolutely terrible because she can hear explosions all the time during her day. As for Dnipro itself, we also suffer from the bombings, but that will be long-range missiles and drones, so they can be CAVs, for example, or other ballistic rockets, or they can be drones, but drones are also able to impose a lot of damage. For example, 2 days ago, we had the bombing, the night bombing, and it was scary because I woke up to it. It was multiple explosions over a night, and as usual, Russians were bombing us after the midnight. The first time it was 12:30, and then it was at 1 a.m., it was at 1:30 a.m. And this bombing was, for some reason, I cannot explain you why, this bombing was directed specifically at the cultural heritage, and they destroyed the church, they destroyed the music hall with organ, and this was the unique organ because it's not the part of Ukrainian church culture to have them. So this one is the unique, and four neighboring regions don't have organs at all. This one was damaged. It was in this building and it was destroyed. Not probably destroyed, but it was damaged. You cannot play on it now. And the hall itself was also damaged. And they also managed to damage the educational college and the hospital building. And it's just terrible because it's not the place where you would hit if you would like to hit anything, not civilian. So you would like to hit something military. And before this, there were very heavy bombings about a week and a half ago, and they were aimed at logistics centers. And again, it was a civilian logistics because the supermarket warehouses were there, the post warehouses were there, and this new post, for example, is the post that we are just using to ordering online some things from the online supermarket, and it was also delivered by this post. So basically, mostly civilian targets were hit in Dnipro within these few weeks. And one day ago, I was at my countryside house, and then there were again explosions, and it's not very clear what was bombed, but probably it was drones, and they say the drones were hit by anti-missile systems. And when we are talking about anti-missile systems, we are mostly talking about the men with like bigger guns are trying to hit the drone while it's flying in the air. So it's pretty scary, unsettling to have it around. But it's better, it's way better than if this drone will hit your house. That's why here we need to compromise. And these mobile groups, we call it mobile groups, they used to be farther from the city, and now they're closer to the city. They're not inside, for example, my neighborhood, but they're closer to the city. That's why you can hear it more. And again, as I told you, in Zaporizhia, for example, when the flight time is so short, they need to stay closer and closer to the residential buildings in order to prevent the bigger damage. And as for the situation in general, we have the electricity, we have water. The situation in this regard is way better than in winter, for example, or even in spring months. So far it's not very hot. That's why we have electricity, because people don't turn on the air conditioners. I haven't done it yet, and I don't know people who did actually in Dnipro. That's why, because of the weather, we have 25, sometimes we have 17. We did have 1 week where it was when it was over 30 degrees, but that was only for 1 week. And again, the air wasn't too hot, and it was possible to not turn on these heavy devices. And the economical situation is worsening, and the prices in supermarkets, they grow constantly, and it's like every time you go there, you see that something is more expensive and something is more expensive. It's okay if you have a stable income or somewhere else, like if you work online, for example. But for people who work in the country, they don't have very good salaries, and a lot of people are unemployed. Unemployment rate is very high, and that's why the situation is tense, and people find it harder to survive. A lot of businesses are closing. I can just go and walk downtown and see that, okay, this closed, this is closed. At the same time, there are areas where the cafes are open, restaurants are working, but I would say that they have fewer customers than they used to have, and some specifically. We were just going out with my friend, and she said, "Did you notice that it's not many people around actually socializing?" That's the change probably. The mental toll is also kind of taken. It's think everybody who I know, they have some health issues that are developing. I told you already about the health issues, but they're getting worse. And also there is some kind of passiveness or apathy. I don't know how to call it best, because you just are not so alerted when there is the siren, and you're not so alerted when there are explosions. So your safety window is moving, and that's bad because the fear disappears, and that means that we are more prone to the risky behavior, for example, and we wouldn't shelter when we need to shelter. And that obviously potentially can increase the number of casualties. And these pictures, when you see the Ukrainians are minding their business, and there will be like some ruined building on the background, just ruined, not like 1 week or 2 weeks ago, but literally ruined this night, and you will see the women with baby carriages, or you will see people drinking coffee from from the local coffee shop. That's pretty much what is happening. So pretty much we are not sensible enough for this. I wouldn't say it's getting used to it, but it's more like a nervous system is adjusting, which is, I don't know, good or bad. It's for you probably to decide, but it's definitely not normal. And I think that's the biggest updates after the Victory Day. Here, the Russians promised to exchange 1,000 prisoners. It didn't happen fully, so they did have 2 exchanges since then, but it wasn't like 1,000 for 1,000. So Russians lied again. There are a lot of things happening in politics, but I'm not a political reviewer, so you can go and check it online. I don't believe in negotiations, and I don't believe that whatever is happening is actually going to finish this war anytime soon. So that's why everything we are doing, we need to keep doing. And thank you so much for your help. Thank you for your support, for staying with us, for turning it on and checking what's happening in Dnipro. Please do share this information. Again, it's getting worse in Dnipro itself. There are some military successes that we are proud of, but in general, the war is still happening, and we still need as much help, and we still need to fight Russians with all the resources possible. Thank you for your support, and thank you very much for watching. I hope to see you very soon in way better circumstances. Goodbye for now.